Good morning, everybody. I'm Ron Trevino. Right now, we're continuing our breaking news coverage of the wildfire in San Jacinto County, just near the Montgomery County line. You're currently looking at video from Air 11 that we shot this right after 8 o'clock this morning. We first told you about these wildfires yesterday afternoon. Right now, roughly 2,000 acres are burning, leading to school closures at Cleveland ISD. Montgomery County officials have issued new evacuations for those living nearby. Right now, about 20% of the fire is contained. We've got team coverage for you now on KHOU 11+. Our Cheetah Craft is tracking how the weather is impacting the fire, and Ngozi Iloka has been near the fire all morning. Ngozi, how are things since we heard from you at 6 a.m.?
You know, Ron, they've made some improvement. At 6 a.m. when you and I talked, it was about 10% contained, that fire. Now they're saying it's 20% contained. However, we know from last night it expanded from 1,300 acres to 2,000 acres. So there's that they're looking at today. So we're here at the Mobile Command Center area in Conroe. This is where over 50 law enforcement agencies are working together to tackle this wildfire, as well as over 120 firefighters. Now we're going to speak to one of the agency leaders here, Texas A&M Forest Service, PIO, the Public Information Officer, Matthew Ford. Matthew, thanks for taking the time briefly. He's very busy, but he's talking to us right now. Matthew, what is y'all's agency's role exactly when it comes to helping with this fire and working with them?
Absolutely. With Texas A&M Forest Service, we wear a bunch of different hats, and we have a bunch of different roles that we need to play with any kind of wildfire incident. Here on the Pauline Road fire, you can see our personnel helping in unified command as incident commanding staff, helping with divisions, as well as sending bulldozer assets and providing that contact for air to ground with aviation resources.
Wow. When we talk about air to ground, can you explain a little bit more about what that means and how that helps with containing the fire? That's the goal, right? Containing it.
Yes, ma'am. So when I'm talking about air ground, it's one of our frequencies that we use to contact with air attack, as well as any helicopters or fixed wing aircraft that may be helping us with suppression efforts. It's very crucial that we maintain contact. That way all resources are out of line when there's any kind of drops, as well as to deviate any kind of air assets to any hot spots that we may see and pivot from that point.
And how crucial is that when it comes to this, the efforts to contain the wildfire? We know that it's spread from 1,300 acres to 2,000. And they're expecting, because it's windy today, that can continue, which is a concern. So the process and how you all help them, how crucial is that to containing it and fighting it?
It's very crucial in order to work together. And it's not just us, local fire departments, as well as the county OEMs from San Jacinto, as well as Montgomery County are here providing those assets, providing that assistance, whether it's going to be operational or logistics, or even plans for that matter, in order to make sure the right units at the right division in order to make containment issues the way they are.
Yeah, just working together. I mean, over 50 law enforcement agencies out here, guys, today, 120 firefighters, just to show the magnitude of teamwork out here to get this all together. Can you talk to us a little bit about stressing to people how they should be aware of their surroundings as the fire is out there and could spread?
Yes. So a lot of times, what you need to know is to know the information, but the important thing is to know where that information is coming from and how to get it. So for any residents that are needing that information, they can go on to their county OEM, Office of Emergency Management, whether that is San Jacinto or Montgomery County, for any kind of information on evacuations, closures, shelters, whether that's livestock or residential. They can also find that on their county fire marshal webpage, and they can always find it at tfswildfires.com, as well as our X and Instagram feeds.
So lots of information and resources available for people, and I was talking to the county judge, Mark, earlier about this. When we talk about just the fire and just how big it is and just all the different agencies working to contain it, and they were able to make sure no homes were destroyed, nobody was hurt overnight, that is huge. When we talk about this, can you explain just how much of a team effort it takes to make sure people are safe and their homes are secure?
It really is a big accomplishment. When you have an active incident like this, there's a lot of things at play. Having that teamwork, whether that is at the Office of Emergency Management, the local fire departments, making sure everyone is evacuating, even to the sheriff's office, who's directing traffic for effective evacuations, plays a crucial role in any kind of incident, whether it's wildfire or all hazard.
And how many members are with the Texas A&M Forest Service today. I guess, do y'all have a number of in terms of people here today, or how does that work?
So right now we have personnel in terms of units. A dozer units, 2-man crew. We have 3 dozer units with 2 more inbound. So we are growing in size in terms of personnel. Realistically speaking, in terms of total personnel, we're looking at the 120 to 150 total, and that includes federal, state, and local officials.
That's right. That's right. It's a team effort, and
Yes.
and you all will be available to help and add more people if needed. I'm assuming, but sounds like what you guys have now will work. Now, in terms of them, what they're working on today. I understand they have like a striking unit that's focused on really containing the fire. We understand there'll be tankers, I guess, from the air, and then they're working on a protection type unit that's working on protecting structures. Can you talk to us a little bit about just the importance of protecting property, but also making sure they're attacking the fire? That's just so important to get this all under control, correct?
Correct. So with any kind of large-scale incident that we're seeing, there's multiple resources, and having the operations to do that, it plays a crucial role. So we have multiple task force and strike teams, whether that's dozers or engines, working both the right and left flank of the fire. We have additional task forces doing structure protection to make sure there's no ember spray that may come within the vicinity of any residential homes. And on top of that, based on our weather conditions and forecasting, we have a last strike team here on standby, ready to go in case the weather picks up, so they can respond efficiently and effectively to make sure we still have that 0 residential home structures damaged or anything like that.
Yeah, we definitely want to keep it that way today, and they've been just doing such a great job working together and doing their best. We wish the firefighters out there and the agencies the best with this huge task, if you will. Now, in terms of the weather, that is a big concern today. Can you talk to us about how that could play a factor, like the windy weather, in really containing the fire and keeping it from spreading?
Yeah, so weather, as always, plays an important factor, okay? Even with the weather, goes into how we do our operations. Right now, we're expected temperatures to be in the 60s. RH, relative humidity, is going to be 18 to 19, which is extremely low for southeast Texas this time of year. On top of that, we have 10 to 15 miles of wind speed coming from the northwest, gusts up to 25 in a mature pine plantation. So that cool air and that postal frontal that we're seeing is drying out our vegetation as the fire is coming. So it plays a real big role, and that's why we're having so many resources come inbound, expecting peak season around 1 or 2 this afternoon to make sure we're on top of this and we stay containing and doing suppression efforts.
Yeah. So you heard it there, guys. They're on standby. They've got folks really working it, and there's several of them, all the agencies and firefighters here also on standby, as well as attacking that fire. So we, of course, will be following the situation out here. But for now, we'll send it back to you all in the studio.
Yeah, Gochi, is going to be a Herculean effort for them for sure. Now, we understand that 900 homes have been evacuated. You were at a shelter this morning. Tell us about that.
Yes, 900 homes were evacuated, and we understand they were able to get most of the people out, but they're still spreading the word for folks to really just be aware of their surroundings if they haven't left, but they're urging that they do that because of the wind picking up today. They're afraid it could spread, so if you haven't left and you're near the fire, you should do that just to be safe. Now, the shelter I was at, which was East Montgomery County Community Development Center out in Splendora, this morning there was no one there. However, there was lots of space. They say it could hold about 50 people. And they can even make even more room. And they had a different comfort kits with different toiletry items in there for folks who need to come down, who need a place to stay. So they made it nice and clean and just welcoming for folks. But there was no one there that morning. And also when we talked to them about an hour ago, the officials out here, they said none of the shelters in the area actually had people staying. So that means for those who still need a place to go, there's plenty of room available right now.
Authorities this morning were saying if you evacuate, go back to your home. We're not out of the woods yet. Thank you so much, Gochi. please be safe out there. Let's turn things over to Cheetah now. Cheetah, it's so dry.
It is so
It's
dry.
so windy. Is that going to get worse this afternoon?
Well, it is. And just like you heard, we're expecting that relative humidity less than 20%. That's extremely dry across the area. We did have a cool front blow through yesterday. That's why right now we have a north to south wind. These are sustained winds. So sustained winds around 15 to 20 miles per hour. You can see 22 in Galveston, 21 in Huntsville, but easily we're looking at gusts around 25 to 30 miles per hour, which is leading us to this red flag warning. The National Weather Service issued this from 1 o'clock this afternoon through 7 o'clock this evening for all of our counties. The two reasons, one because of the winds and also how dry it is. Now the fire, notice how it's in San Jacinto County, but right on the border in between Montgomery, San Jacinto, and here's Liberty County. Now today we have a wind that's completely north to south. So that means the wind is blowing from the north to the south. So if this is the fire, it is going to take that smoke and then start to push it southward. Now what I did is I put into future motion, I just overlaid it on the radar here, where potentially that smoke could travel. And notice from the fire, it's going to be moving southward. So that means, hey, into Montgomery County, not only northern Montgomery County, but potentially into central and maybe even into southern Montgomery County. This would be the area that we would be watching the smoke. So if you're in this area, potentially from Conroe, the Woodlands, maybe even Spring, not only could you see some haze, but you may see some of those smoke plumes from the fire. And just keep in mind, it's coming out of San Jacinto, but it's right on the border between Montgomery and even Liberty County. With that due north wind from north to south, it'll be driving that smoke just further south of where the actual fire is. I've been watching the air quality all morning long, and all morning it's been showing good. Now I'm going to keep monitoring this very carefully. If this of course changes, we will let you know. Let me take you into future motion though. So right now we're looking at those sustained winds around 15 to 20 with gusts around 25 to 30. I'll take you through noon and this afternoon, and notice how our gusts kind of stay the same. So today as another breezy day with that low relative humidity. When do the winds calm down? It's overnight. So even at 5 o'clock this afternoon, winds start to weaken just a little bit, and then overnight we should continue to see improvements as well. Back to the relative humidity, that plays a big role. And here across Southeast Texas, we usually have a lot of moisture to work with. We don't get these just pure sunny days very often. Today though, it's leading to this high fire danger. And when we look even at 6 o'clock this evening, as temperatures actually start to go down, we're still dealing with relative humidity less than 20%. I think when it peaks today, it could be less than about 15. Extremely dry across the area here. That's more like the desert Southwest. So as far as the fire danger goes today, yesterday we were more into the high category. Because our temperatures are a little bit cooler, you would think that would put us in a better direction. We're more at moderate levels. But again, with low relative humidity and strong north winds, you really have to be very mindful how easy it is to spark a fire, and then if something is created, how quickly it can spread. Ron, I'll send it back to you, but we'll continue to monitor this over here.
All right. Dangerous conditions. All right. Thank you so much, Cheetah. Now here's a look at the shelters that are open for evacuees. For those in the Cleveland area, you can go to the Calvary Baptist Church. In the Splendora area, the East Montgomery County Community Shelter is available, and in Cold Spring, the San Jacinto County Shelter is open for you. We're going to have fresh new updates every hour throughout the day. Make sure to check back in right here on KHOU 11 Plus and download the app as we continue to track the updates. We should have another update right here at 11 o'clock. I'm Ron Trevino.